Um, Game number 2 of the season of the year, and then game. This will be game number 9 of the Road to Class A, I believe. I'm probably going to lose track of that at some point, but right now I got it in my head. So, welcome, friends. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys coming. Here's another game in my Road to Class A series. I do appreciate you guys watching these. Do leave comments down below. Did you see any lines in this game that we're going to go through that you thought were interesting or critical? Leave your ideas and comments down below. Like and share. It does help me out quite a bit. As always, it shows me that you like this kind of material and you want to see more. And I get a lot out of it too, because not only am I playing the games, I get to try to train and explain everything to all of you as a teacher and an educator of the game. So I'm hoping that people are finding benefit in seeing what it's like from a 1600 level Class B player's perspective, which I know a lot of new players are coming into the game and they're looking for somebody that's a little bit higher than them to help them progress forward, and I think I'm in a good position to do that. So I hope that these are very helpful for all of you as well. All right, let's get into the game. I was really excited for this game. I got to play a new player to the club. His name was Ben Kearns. So he is a gentleman who lives near me in our local club that he's starting to come to the Waukesha Chess Club. So I'm excited to play more games with him. It's awesome to see new faces at the club, especially over the board. I think that's the most exciting part of chess, is you get to meet so many like-minded people that really love the game. And he primarily played online, and now he's getting into over the board. And I was excited to be one of his first players that he got to play. So, or near the front. I know that another one of my training partners got to play him at the Christmas party. So I had a little bit of information about him, but I went into this game completely blind for the most part. But the rating list said he was about 1,400 roughly. I think he told me he was about 1,700 lead chess. So definitely no slouch. Definitely somebody that knows how to play the game and can come up with some really good ideas, and somebody that you have to really kind of be careful of. All right, so as I mentioned in my last video and last live stream, I decided I'm going to play the Reti. The reason for this is the Reti can be very combative, and I believe that it really kind of throws people off, because most people are going to be expecting e4 or d4, and knight to f3 kind of confuses them, at least at the class level. As I get closer to 2000, I'm sure that will be less of an issue. People will know and have to set up their lines and know what to do. But in this particular game, it was interesting because my opponent, he was expecting e4 or d4, because that's what people play online. And he sat for a few minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes, deciding what to play when he started. Because he even admitted to me, he's like, I didn't expect a Reti. And he's like, you guys at the club here play all kinds of different stuff, so it's something I'm going to have to get used to. I said, yeah, everybody tries to confuse everybody by getting everybody out of book, because Chessable is such a big deal. So I was happy to have my plan worked. So he played knight to c6, which I think is where a lot of his problems stem from at the beginning, because now he loses the ability to move the c pawn, and that becomes a real problem for him at some point. So I played g3, he played b6. He's going for an English defense, or an Owens defense. I think it starts with b6 and then bishop b7 without the knight move. So I can't remember. I'm probably mixing them up, but it's an English modern defense kind of setup. So hyper modern. I am familiar with this particular setup because I used to play it. Not so much with the knight. I just know that the knight move there at the beginning is not ideal because it blocks the c pawn. So I know that this is just better for for white. So I'm going to continue on, and he played e6. I got my super castle as Nate Solon coined it. I do like it. So at this point now, I'm trying to decide how best I want to proceed. I haven't gone through the whole Reti course that Nate Solon has, so I'm unfamiliar. This is unfamiliar territory for me. I do know the themes and ideas, and I have went over a lot of games in the Reti to see how other grandmasters proceed. And I thought, well, he wants to play. Now, what I should have done is, instead of castling here, I think I should have played. I should have played d4 to stop e5. I didn't do that. This was a suggestion from Nate Solon directly. I don't know if he got it to me over Twitter or the chess gym, but I'll talk about the chess gym at some point. If you guys want to comment about that, go ahead, ask me, and I'm gonna plan on doing a video about the chess gym later. But yeah, this kind of stops the whole e5, and that's what I should have played here. I messed that up, but my opponent wasn't sure, so I played e4 or c4, stopping d5. Now, it doesn't stop d5. You can still play it, but I don't think it's ideal to play. And he played knight to f6, and I played b3 with the idea of doing a double fianchetto. I like this a lot. I'm controlling when I get it in. We'll talk about that move in a minute. I'll be controlling all of these squares with the idea of pushing these at some point when the timing is right. Yeah, I like this idea, and he played a very dubious and interesting move here. I think this is his first real mistake. I didn't mark it as such in my analysis. I should have, but this is definitely a mistake. We're gonna mark it as a mistake even, so we're gonna put a question mark on there. But yeah, it totally blocks up his center, and he can't do anything. So I continued my plan. I probably should have just played d4 here, and went just to gain full control of the center. But he played queen to e7, and so now I'm kind of wondering which way is he going to castle. I probably should have still played d3 here, but I wanted my fianchettoed bishop to be very active, and I played d3. Opening principle wise, I should have just played d4, and then just kind of continued development, and then try to gain a huge center. My idea was to play for e5 or e4 and then e5, because these are forkable pieces, right? So this is a critical square, so and I've got full control of it, so if I can get a pawn there, I'm gonna win a piece. Now this is kind of quite elementary, very basic, very novice level, but I thought, okay, well, it's a decent plan, I might as well go for it, and I'm doing okay in development. I'm a piece down, or not a piece down, but a piece behind in development, so I thought, well, I'll just gain control of the center and we'll go from there. I probably should have just played d4 and then played for e4 and then e5 instead, but I played this way instead. That's okay. It's a learning experience, so I'm unfamiliar with plans in the Reti yet, so this is new territory for me, and I thought this was a good idea. It seemed to be okay for me. Here was so this was the second surprising move. I really expected a castle one way or another, which I think he should have done. I think he probably should have castled queenside, and then played for kingside attack. But I could understand why you wouldn't want to castle queenside, because I do have that c4 pawn very close. It could get messy, but you could also castle kingside if you didn't want to do that. And I've only got really one piece attacking that way, which is my bishop. But you can easily play e5 and kind of play against that bishop, and I think it's okay. So I think you could go either way. I think it's personal preference. I'm really not sure what the engine would say one way or another. I don't think playing a5 here is the right idea. Maybe trying to move your bishop to a more active square would have been ideal. Maybe bringing it to, c5 and controlling a little bit more of, the center and trying to block things up that way. Not exactly sure what the best idea to do here is, but I think castling is probably one of the best options, and then trying to get this bishop to a more active square like b4 or c5. I think you have to prepare a little bit more for c if you want to bring it to c5, because I could then push d4. But yeah, either way, he played a5 and gave me another option. I thought this was really surprising. So I played e4, continuing with my plan as we kind of discussed. And now I have a real threat. My real threat is playing e5 and going for a fork. So I'm pretty excited that I've got a plan here that kind of worked out. It's very basic, but it is a real threat he has to deal with. And the best way to deal with it is with e5. So now his bishop looks really silly on d6 there. So I'm just going to continue my development. Knight c3, and now I've got a nice outpost on d5 for that knight even. Finished my development. I'm happy with how the opening has went. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I feel like I'm in the driver's seat, and I feel like I've got really good chances. I also have another threat. My threat is here. I can win this bishop, or if he decides to move the bishop, I have this fork as well. So there's a critical square here that he has to be careful of. So I'm either going to win the bishop, or then I get the bishop pair, and then I'm going to just try to blow everything up so I can make my bishops active. Or I'm going to fork and get a rook. And here he played bishop to a3. And can you guys see the problem with that move after what I just explained? So now this is even better for me. So this was actually a blunder. And if you know and can figure out the sequence, please let me know down in the chat. Leave a comment, pause the video, try to figure it out for yourself. All right, so I actually took the bishop. Here's the sequence that played out, and this is the best way to play it. Queen a3, queen takes a3, and knight to b5. This is a good move. I gave it an exclamation point, mainly because we fork the queen and we get this fork of the king and rook. So the queen can't come back here because the knight protects that square as well. So he moved it. So actually, let's take a look at that first. We'll add a new variation. He can't come back here because the knight covers those squares. So this was the decisive mistake in the game. He moved his queen, and then I forked and took his rook. So now I'm up in exchange, and I feel really good now. I'm in the driver's seat. I have an advantage, and I think it's time to play some chess. And now I have to think about trying to convert the game, which is sometimes the hardest thing to do. But I have an advantage coming out of the opening and starting the early middle game, so I'm really happy. I'm really pleased. So now I have to try to come up with a really good plan on how to continue. Now, one of the plans to continue was that is one of them. I thought about trying to trade off the queens, but I thought the knights coming in here, they would be way too. These could potentially be really long-term assets for black because this is a good outpost. I have trouble trying to dislodge that knight, and then even so, this knight could come here by maneuvering, and then I can't get that knight out of there because I only have one knight to dislodge it. Also, if he's able to lock down the position, these knights can become very powerful, and my rooks and bishop can be useless. So I was kind of scared of that, so I didn't like that plan. That was a plan that I had saw, but it wasn't one that I really liked so much. This plan is probably the best plan. I probably should have played for d4 right away and then traded off and open lines up because I need to get my rooks active and my bishop active. If I can get my rooks active, there's really no way he's going to win this game because he's down in exchange. And this is extremely good, I think. And black's king is not castled. It's really loose. So I think this is really, really strong for white. The other thing that he could have done is he could have played e takes d4, but it kind of transposes to the same thing. So the other thing that they could have done is if where were we here? Knight d4. If they play d6, we can just ignore that and play for the open file. Lines are open. I broke through. I've got a file, so now I can kind of just gain control of that very quickly. If he takes with knight e4, we can just take the e pawn. This is really tough for him to deal with because, whoops, we've got this. Frank, sorry, someone was at my door or somebody dropped something off. Back, sir. Quiet, buddy. So yeah, this is tough to deal with, and I'm gonna get c5 in, or sorry, d5, and then d6. It's gonna get messy. Yeah, now my bishop's open. I'm gonna gain control of this file. This is already really, really rough for black. The plan that I came up with was queen to c1, with the idea of coming to here with this fork. This was my plan. I thought this was a decent plan. After looking at it, I think the d4 plan was much better because he can play king f8, and now I think I can still do what I wanted. Sorry, I lost my spot. Queen to c1 is move 15. I didn't have any other options here at move 15. I should have just played d4. That would have been the best move. But I played queen c1 and he played king f8, kind of stopping my plan. I think I played queen to e3, and I think I still probably could have played this move with the idea of winning this pawn here. But he can just go here, and then I have to deal with it. So I didn't like that. I went queen to e3. With the idea of maybe hoping to trade off queens, and then I thought, well, maybe that's not good because then he gets this center pawn, and this is good here too. So I was like, this was probably a mistake. What I should have maybe done here is went knight h4 and kind of continued this way. Yeah, so the idea is coming here and then getting this mating attack, which I thought was good. I like that plan quite a bit. So he'd want to try to probably keep my knight out of there, but then it's coming anyways. Yeah, and he can't do that because we just come back and we're going to get this. And then, you know, we have this control that's just kind of really tough to deal with the idea of f4, f5. It's tough. There's a lot going on here. And these were some of the ideas and things I saw during the game. But for some reason, I played queen to e3 instead. It was a wasted move. I was trying to see if I could lure this knight out. This was kind of a little bit of hope chess here. Because then I could bring my queen here, and then he's got, you know, I've got multiple threats, but he didn't do that. He offered a queen trade. I denied the queen trade because I didn't think it was good. I thought, like we just talked about, he'd have this crazy outpost, and now black's kind of equalized. I can't get my rooks out, and the, you know, being up the exchange is almost useless. So positionally, I thought that was not a good idea. So I played queen to d2. He manually finished castling, and now I kind of continued on with my plan. And he brought his knight in. For here, I spent a while thinking here, and maybe you guys can come up with some other ideas, but I didn't come up with any other ideas. This is one idea that I came up with, was just to keep the knight from any types of discovered attacks or checks. That was my failsafe move if I couldn't come up with anything better. What would you guys play here? I kind of want to continue with the plan that we talked about just previously. And, but I was concerned about, you know, trades and simplifying and things like that. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, oh, I'm up in exchange. I should simplify anyways. So knowing that, how would you guys best proceed? Maybe you guys can come up with some lines, leave some comments. If you're watching this as a video in the live stream, go ahead and make some comments. Yeah, King H1 is a good idea. With the idea of f4, I like that idea a lot, actually. King H1, and depending on what black would do, maybe they're trying to solidify their center, then playing f4. Yeah, this is a pretty decent idea. I like this idea. It also helps us build more of a kingside attack and going after the king. So yeah, this is not bad. It also gives us the ability to blow up the center, but we have to be a little careful as not to allow him to trade on this particular square, e5, because then if his rook can get active against our backward pawn. So we have to be careful, but you're right. We definitely have to get our bishop into the mix, because right now our light squares are just stifling our bishop's progress. So you're definitely right about the light squares. So light squares have to be taken care of. So the move that I came up with was knight to f5. I said, well, okay, I'm just going to continue with my plan. Okay, let's go for a mate threat. And if he decides to take, which is what happened in the game, I'm just going to take it, and now I've solved my light squared bishop problem. Okay, whoopsies. It's open. But most certainly what's going to happen is it's going to trade off, which is exactly what happened. And now I've got two rooks and a queen against a rook, a knight, and a queen. And I've actually made some simplification. To me, I feel like this is a good way to go. And this was the critical position I had to think about whether or not I wanted to have all the way from back here. And I ultimately decided after, I believe, 5 minutes. What move is this? This is move 19. Move 19. I spent 5 minutes here deciding whether or not I can do this, and determining whether or not I like this position or if it's playable. And I ultimately decided that it was. So I went for it, and this is actually what played out during the game. And I'm up in exchange, and the best plan forward here is to limit his knight activity and open lines. And how do we best accomplish that? So it's my opponent's move right now, and he played h6. He kept me from coming into g5 with my queen, but I have no intentions of pushing like that. So to me, that was kind of a wasted move. And even if I do move there, big deal. I mean, what does it achieve? It achieves nothing because I don't have any other pieces to pile up on this yet. I have to maneuver a lot of pieces to get over there. So whatever kingside attack or mating attack might have been there, it's gone at this point. So now we have to start thinking about endgame play, and now it's about maneuvering pieces, opening lines so I can get my rooks active, and limiting the scope of this knight positionally. At least that's what's in my brain. So he stopped me from coming into g5. To me, I think that's kind of a wasted move. I think he needs to kind of consolidate. And maybe this is kind of a waiting, consolidating move, trying to see what I'm doing. So here I'm just going to move my rooks to the center. He got his queen a little bit more active. I'm limiting his knight from coming into, excuse me, into g4. So now that knight has no squares. It can only move backwards. So I'm good with that. If it moves to h4, it's on, or h5, it's on the rim, so it's not doing much there. So I'm okay with all of that, but keeping it out of this square was critical. He brings his knight or his rook in, and I finally. Oh, thanks, Harry. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. So here, I offered my first queen trade. He was smart to probably deny it, and he had to come back. Because if he comes here, I'm going to take it, and that's fine. Now we're okay, and I'm going to try to blow up. We're going to go here and here, or here, 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 here. We're just going to move forward and be okay. So he didn't do that, though. The other thing I could do is just consolidate, and now, yeah. If he gets his knight here, it's kind of tough to deal with, but I'm not too worried about that. He denied it and saved his pawn at the same time, which was smart. I played rook to rook f to e1, going after the pawn. He put me in check. I offered another queen trade. I probably should have just moved my king back to g1. I didn't consider this. I wanted to trade queens off, but I probably should have just moved my king back and left this going right here, and then with the idea of pushing this pawn later. But I offered queen trades, and here's my third queen trade offer. And here I think I gave him a psychological issue to deal with, because I made it seem as though I'm willing to draw by repetition. And he went for the same thing again, and I said, and then I made the move f3 and said, no draws here. And I think that can hurt some people, that can help some people, but it's certainly a psychological play when I played like this, and I did it on purpose. I want to trade the queens off, and I did the repetition hoping to try to play the queen trade, and I knew that he didn't want to. But I was hoping it might have some sort of psychological advantage over him, over my opponent. Maybe it didn't even bother him. We didn't get a chance to talk about that particular aspect. So yeah, he played d6, and queen trades are not happening. So I decided now we're going to try to blow up the center, and he played rook to e8 here, which was a great move. I think this is the best move in the position. It's pinning, my pawn, or the pawns to my queen, and I have to be very careful here. Like if this happens, so if he just traded, then I get that. But he played rook e8, and I said, okay, well, I probably should have just blown it up and just went here. And then if he comes here, we come here. He can either trade here or go here. And yeah, I think this is okay. We have to be careful. You know, things can happen very, very badly if we're not careful. But I think we're still okay and safe. So, but we can now get this repetition. So you have to be careful. I could have had a draw if I'm not careful. So we don't want to do that. So I didn't allow that, and I played d5, pushed him through, and he played queen to c7. He has to. I guess he could have played queen b7. He's got to keep control of that pawn for sure. And I played g4. And here I'm kind of trying to figure out how do I best proceed and how do I move forward. And it's rough, right? I have to be very slow about it. And this move 31, we're about even time. I've got 47 minutes. He's got 51. So we're doing okay for time. Definitely plenty to play. And I came up with my secondary plan of trying to push on the king side. He moved his knight away, coming, and he's going to bring his knight into c5. But it's kind of almost useless there. I think he needed to keep it on the king side to keep protection of his king. And he played queen to d8, and I played g5. One of the things I think we should have done is just opened it up right away. And if he comes here, we get this, and it's a tough time for black. So I didn't do that. I played g5. I think I was a little overzealous here, and even here I think I probably should have taken this, because either way I'm going to be able to get my rooks over. I'm not sure exactly. I took here and then pushed here. I sacrificed 2 pawns. I think I had to be very careful. And it's to note, black has if white can make a very big mistake here, we have to be very careful. And I knew about this because I ran into this issue at the Waukesha Memorial in 2023. And in one of my games, I made this move, which was really bad. Queen g6 is a blunder, and can you see why? Pause the video, try to figure it out for yourself, and then leave a comment. Let me know what the best move for black is on move 38. Say move 38, and then say the move and double exclam, and boom, we have a winning position for black. So I have to be careful. Let me know what the move is. So I played rook to h1 with mate threats. He played queen to f8, which is a good move here. But he resigned. He resigned after he made his move. Offered his handshake and resigned because he thought it was checkmate. It's not checkmate. There's still game to play, but this could have been how it continued. But it's still rough, and it would be a difficult game for him to kind of continue on. That's the way to kind of get out, and we would get queen g6, but that's still you still have to be very careful by taking certain things. But yeah, this was the final position, and my opponent resigned. But it is tough to deal with. I am going to be able to get some pawns back, but it is hard to play from here for sure. But well done to my opponent. I think if he stays with over-the-board chess and starts playing more, he's going to become very, very good very quickly, because he's going to be playing some tough opponents, because the Waukesha Chess Club is very, very, very tough. So congratulations to him. We played a really fun and interesting game. I learned a lot from it for playing the Reti. There's a lot of times where I should have broken up the center a lot better, or I should have controlled the center a lot better, and I didn't. So that's my takeaways a lot from this game. Also, this mating attack, sacrificing 2 pawns to break through was probably not ideal. So yeah, I have a lot of lessons in this game as well, which is really good to hear. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you're watching this from YouTube or in some other area, please like and share. It helps me out a lot. And then leave some comments down below with some of the moves that I asked and questioned about during the game. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.